Hey everybody, it's Mr. Carr, and today we're going to be starting off our Unit 2. So 2A Day 1, solving one-step and two-step equations. So everything we've done so far, okay, if you think about what we did in Unit 1, we were looking at essential skills for Algebra 1. One of those things that we want to make sure we're clear on, especially with that, is order of operations. It's going to be very helpful for this unit where we're going to be doing a lot of solving equations. Okay, so today we're going to take it easy. We're going to look at just one step and two step, which means we only have to do one thing or two things. So, real quick, an equation, let's differentiate that from what we had before. So, what's the difference between an expression and an equation? An equation has an equal sign, whereas an expression does not. Okay, so from what you've seen before, we would have had something like this, where I have like 5x plus 4. That's the expression. Okay. In fact, I'm going to go ahead and just I'll move that over here. Let's put it over here close to the expression. That's an expression. But if I do this, 5x plus 4 equals 10. Now it's an equation. Okay. And all it takes is that equal sign right there. So when we solve, one thing we want to make sure we are aware of is our properties of equality. What these are basically saying that in an equation, if you apply addition to one side of the equation, you also have to apply it to the other. Okay. This is going to help us for solving because we want to be able to undo certain operations. That's our goal when we solve. We want to undo. So if we think about our operations like addition, how do we undo that? It's the opposite or inverse operation. We do subtraction. And if I want to undo subtraction, we do addition. If I want to undo multiplication, we divide. To undo division, we multiply. Okay, there's a few others, but for this is what we're going to focus on just for right now. The other thing to make sure we're aware of is if I'm doing multiplication by a fraction. If we want to undo that, we would multiply by the reciprocal. Okay, so instead of trying to divide by a fraction, we'll just multiply by the reciprocal. Again, the properties of equality basically states whatever you do to one side of the equation, you must do to the other. In fact, I want to really highlight this. We're going to make that capital letters must do to the other. Okay. So we look at these right here. These are all one-step versions. When I look at these, all we have to look for is what operation is happening to my variable. So in number one, y is being subtracted by 10. So solving is undoing. So if I'm subtracting by 10, I need to undo that with addition. And there it is to both sides. That's that property of equality. As long as I do it to both sides, we're okay. We're still balancing this out. So y is equal to 30. For number two there, I've got the variable second, but I still have this as a positive 5. So I'm undoing addition here. So I'm going to do this by subtracting 5 to both sides. And t comes out as 9. Over here, now I've got, technically it's weird because I have addition, but I have a -4 is what's being added to x. I still want to undo that. So I'm going to go with a +4 to both sides. Okay. The goal here is to zero that out. Okay. That one's going to cancel each other out. I got -12 plus 4 is going to give me a -8. All right. For these next few examples, now we're going to get into multiplication and division. Here, remember, this is representing 4 times z. This is multiplication here. So if I want to undo multiplication, we do division. So 4 goes into 84. That'll be 21. Okay. For 5, now we're showing division here. B is being divided by -7. So if I want to undo that, I'm going to, excuse me, multiply both sides by 7. Sorry, I forgot about it was the -7. So we're going to do both sides by -7. That will cancel this out. So B comes out to a -7 times 11. So that's -77. Okay. For 6, we still do the same idea. This is multiplication. So we can divide by -4. Seems a little goofy, but I can take 0 divided by 4, or -4 in this case. The answer is just going to be 0. Remember, if I had it the other way around for some reason, I cannot divide by 0, but I can divide into 0. So this one's okay, and then when it comes up later, we'll talk more about it. All right, so those are all one step. We just had to do one operation to undo whatever was shown in the equation. Two step is just going to look at it as we got two things to get rid of. So, or not two things to get rid of necessarily, but we have to take 2 steps to get this solved. So I'm going to start right here. What I like to look at is this. When we look at the variable x, I focus on here. I try to look at what operations are happening to x. And so what I mean by that is, if I were to, like, just for example, let me come down here, a little space down here. Let's pretend that x equals 1. So if I plug that in, that would look like this: 3 times 1 plus 7. And if I try to multiply that out and add, I would do this first and then this second. That's my normal order of operations: multiplication and then addition. So without the 1, I'm going to focus back on my original problem here. Okay. And so let's just cover that up for now. So I'm going to focus on here. Multiplication is what's happening first, followed by addition. So what that means is when I solve it, I'm going to reverse that order. I don't want to get rid of the 3 first. I want to get rid of the 7. So that's addition by 7. So that means I'm going to undo it with subtraction. So I have 3x is equal to a positive 12. And then I'm going to undo that multiplication with division. So x equals 4. Okay, real quick, I just like to do that where I figure out, oh, hey, in number 8, the first thing that's happening to a is that's multiplied by -4. Then it's being added by 5. That's the second step. Okay, and again, that's what's happening to a. Those are the operations of the order of operations for a. So my solving is going to undo that. I got to reverse this, so I'm going to subtract 5. So that -4a is equal to a -24. And then I can divide both sides by a -4. So that a is equal to a positive 6 now. For number 9, my 2 steps are actually going to be a little bit different because we're going to talk about, or we're going to use what we did last unit, and we're going to combine like terms first. So I can put these together as 7a equals 64. And now I can divide by 7. Okay. And that is just going to be an improper fraction of 64 over 7. There's nothing else I can do with that one. I can't simplify it, and that's it. Okay. So that is it for solving equations so far. We've got 1 and 2 step equations. You are either going to be you're basically always going to be undoing some kind of operation. When we got to the 2 steps, we had to undo them in the reverse order of operations. Okay. And that will be something we'll talk more about when we get even more multi-step equations. All right. That's it for today. Take care.